Today with Elon Musk and Trump, and the interview broke records. CTV News was reporting that it wasn't a very good interview. Colin DeMello was saying, I can't get on the X thing. And fundamentally, there was a massive DDoS attack going on, denial of service attack. So basically, you get other computers to try and request the service. And in all of those requests, because there's so many more requests than the server is capable of, it takes down the server. That's what a denial of service attack does, DDoS attack does. So Elon Musk was dealing with that. He dealt with it, and then the space went on. When I went on, there was 1,000,001 viewers, and I was an hour in. And then the thing went on for 3 hours. I've only listened to about an hour and a half of it, so apologies about that. I like to listen at 1.5 speed because the time it takes for people to think gets cut out at that speed. And you can just hear like it's mainlining information. It's interesting. Anyway, I like to listen at 1.5 speed. So far, as I said, I've listened to about an hour and a half of it. And so far, it's been pretty interesting. One of the things that made me laugh is that Trump said, I'm never going to tell this story again about being shot. I'm never going to tell it again. And then the first thing Elon talks about, he's like, so you're shot, eh? And Trump's like, well, let me tell you how I was shot. Like, it was crazy. I was shot in the ear, bleeding. There's lots of blood in the ear. Like, all of the anecdotes, I've heard them all before. And like, I've heard this story more times. Trump says, I don't want to tell this story. It's so painful. BS. It's funny. It's funny. It's like it's like going to a family gathering and you've got like a bombastic grandpa or something like that who wants to tell the story. And you've got somebody who's never heard the story before. And the story's great, right? But like, dude, you said you weren't going to tell this anymore. Anyway, there's lots to get to. Let's get to it. We live in Demolition Man. I've got a clip from Demolition Man that actually kind of highlights the group of 300, the committee of 300's plans. And it's interlaced with Dennis Leary-esque banter. So Dennis Leary he plays Edgar Friendly, but this Edgar Friendly speech clearly outlines where we live now. Almost right down to the single remaining fast food restaurant because, it's communist and everything, right? Like, I can't believe we didn't see this the first time around. Holy smokeronis. Okay, so as I said, there's lots to get to. Let's get to it first. Mario says, Elon Musk and Trump interview on X shatters records with massive reach and engagement. The Elon-Trump conversation on X has achieved unprecedented heights with a staggering 16.4 million listeners and 84 million views on the post. 84 million views. 84 million, that's a lot, right? That's more than President Biden got for 2020. For the 2020 election. I'm kidding, obviously. Okay. The interview has also generated an extraordinary level of engagement with 319,000 comments, 111,000 retweets, 374,000 likes, and 46,000 bookmarks. These figures don't even include the countless separate posts featuring clips from the interview, which have undoubtedly reached an even wider audience. I'll just quick aside here. There were Rumble channels that were just live streaming the conversation. They got a lot of views as well. So this is just from the main ones. And if CNN had 84 million views, my goodness, they'd be happy, right? But not a chance. And it's interesting that Musk was the one able to pull that off. Very, very interesting. Back to the tweet, the incredible reach and impact of the conversation are a testament to the immense influence of both Elon and Trump, who have once again demonstrated their ability to capture global attention and drive public discourse. So here's Trump talking to Elon Musk. I thought that they were going to be in a room together. Like, I thought that they were going to be sitting together, maybe in Mar-a-Lago or maybe in Elon Musk's couch that he's crashing on for the week. I don't know, wherever Elon Musk lives. But I thought that they were going to be together, but they're not. They were just doing it on X. One of the things that I want to really kind of underline for you is you don't have to be a billionaire to do this. You don't have to be CNN to do this. You don't have to be Elon or Trump or anybody else. I don't necessarily like X, the X spaces as a medium, because I like to see people, and it seems muddy. It's like a washing machine a little bit. And sometimes that works really well, but I've been in spaces with a whole bunch of people with more than like 15 people who are supposed to be talking, and it just sounds like people yelling at each other. And it needs to be moderated better, in my opinion. So, but I mean, like, as far as a medium goes, this works, and anybody could do it. You don't have to be a billionaire is my point, right? And I mean, Jeepers Creepers, you don't have to do it on X either. You can do it on any other platform, and they're generally pretty cheap. Getting your message out, very, very cheap these days compared to the way it used to be. And I just think that's interesting, right? Like, sure, the trimmings all around him scream rich, but like, he's just got a phone there. He's got a phone and microphone, same as you, right? Same thing. He puts his pants on. Well, Donald Trump probably jumps directly into his pants, but other people put their pants on one leg at a time. I was saying I had no problem joining the space. I don't think CTV News is being honest. And there were a bunch of things. And I don't even think I tagged them. I was just like, you people are screeching because you're communists and that's what you've been told to do. Here's a link to the space just in case you don't know where it is. It's on Trump's timeline. And Carrie A says Trump activated photo on the wall. So it's pretty funny. And here's just a part of the thing. It doesn't really matter. Like here's just a little bit of it, I guess.
Yes, if we could just record that conversation and post it, it would have been excellent. And I hope we can have something like that today.
Well, I think we will. I'm pretty sure we will. And congratulations, because I see you broke every record in the book with so many millions of people, and it's an honor. We view that as an honor. And
yes.
So there you go. So this is a pretty regular thing, just sitting in his living room talking to people. And this is an hour and 9 minutes. And at the beginning of this, Elon says, this is just a conversation. It's hard to gauge somebody's temperament when you're in a very caustic kind of predatory interview. So this is just meant to be a conversation between two people. It's interesting. Elon Musk is maybe not the best interviewer in the world. I've seen better interviewers for sure, but it's an interesting conversation back and forth. There are, so far, I've been entertained up to what I've listened to. We haven't got really into anything meaty as far as I've heard yet. I know that Elon talks about wanting to join some kind of government accountability thing to rein in government spending, and Trump was on board with that. So will Elon Musk join Trump's cabinet? Maybe. I mean, that's interesting. But I haven't heard any massive things. There's all sorts of posts disseminating what was talked about, and lots of people enjoyed the conversation. I don't have color on it, really. Like, what I would say is that you should probably go listen to it. And there were things said that were interesting enough so far that I'm going to go probably listen to the rest of it while I do dishes later on today. So I'll let you know if there's anything crazy. But this is all part and parcel. Like, in my opinion, Donald Trump has won handily already the election up to the election night, right? Like, I don't think there's anything Kamala Harris can do that's going to derail Donald Trump, an October surprise or anything like that. So all assets are trying to attack Trump. And I was actually going to go find the Colin DeMello tweet to show you just how ridiculous he is, but he's got me blocked and I don't care that much. So they're all trying to attack Trump in different ways. And Elon too, trying to say like, hey, these Trump-Elon conversations are dangerous and we have a responsibility to stop them, right? The White House, here is, I can't remember who this guy is. He's some kind of reporter, but he's asking, is the president going to step in and stop this?
Elon Musk is slated to interview Donald Trump tonight on X. I don't know if the president is going to tune in. Feel free to say if he is or not. But I think that misinformation on Twitter is not just a campaign issue. It's it's an America issue. What role does the White House or the president have in sort of stopping that, or stopping the spread of that, or sort of intervening in that? Some of that was about campaign misinformation, but it's a wider thing, right?
Yeah, no, and you've heard us talk about this many times from here, about the responsibilities that social media platforms have when it comes to misinformation, disinformation. Don't have anything to read out from here about specific ways that we're working on it, but we believe that they have the responsibility. These are private companies, so we're also mindful of that too. But look, it is. I think it is incredibly important to call that out as you're doing. I just don't have any specifics on what we have been doing internally as it relates to the interviews. Not something that I'm tracking, and I'm sure the president's not tracking it either.
Incredible. She's dressed like a clown. Like, does she do that on purpose? Elon Musk says he's happy to host Kamala on an X Space too. Colin says, I wouldn't hold your breath. Over 3 weeks, not a single interview. So they're not doing interviews with this presidential candidate. Thank you very much. You just have to be happy she's not Donald Trump. Right now, says the Harris Waltz campaign, Elon Musk is interviewing Donald Trump live on Twitter. We're not calling it X. Okay. It's not enough that Musk has pledged to donate millions of dollars to help re-elect Donald Trump. That's not true. He's using his purchased platform, one of the largest social media sites in the world, to spread Trump's unhinged and hateful agenda to millions of users. If that's all you need to hear, chip in $25 now to help Kamala. Otherwise, let us remind you why this is a big deal. The richest person in the world is a lackey for Team MAGA. How dare they want to make America great again? Weird. The EU has also taken umbrage with Elon Musk's interview with Donald Trump, and they say, with great audience comes greater responsibility. Like, I'm a Spider-Man fan, and I'm not an EU fan, so weird that it's like using a song for a political campaign, but you're like, I don't agree with your politics. Please, Jagmeet Singh, stop using my song for your ridiculous communist politics, right? So, like, it's very, very gauche. I don't like the Spider-Man. Like, that's what Uncle Ben taught to Spider-Man, right? With great power comes great responsibility, Peter, right? And, don't get your uncle killed. But Jeepers Creepers, the EU using that to try and force Elon Musk to be fearful, threatening him. Theory, Breton says, with great audience comes great responsibility. As there is a risk of amplification of potentially harmful content in Europe in connection with events with major audiences around the world, I sent this letter to Elon Musk. And the letter is long, and he's basically saying, you might violate the EU's laws if you go ahead with this interview. You shouldn't go ahead with this interview because we might take legal action against you, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And previously, a couple of weeks ago, not too long ago, the EU threatened all the major social networks with fines if they didn't agree with the secret censorship ideology behind running their platforms without being fined. And everybody else said yes, I guess. And Elon Musk said no, and according to Elon Musk. So this is the next step. If you don't listen, we're going to prosecute you. We're going to use our power in whichever way will work to get rid of you, right? So that's, a threat. Very interesting, notable. Tom Mazzaro says, it was my understanding that the concept of free speech was universal across the first world nations and the EU. However, it appears that that was naive and something we cannot take for granted when we consider this letter below. We now live in a world where the wealthiest man in the world is being issued a warning for publicly speaking to a former and soon to be again president of the United States. It says two things to me. One, America has lost its influence as the leader of the free world. And two, European leaders believe they can dictate terms of freedom to the rest of the world. Guess what, Europe? The last time you pulled this, America was born as a consequence of your arrogance and tyrannical beliefs. This time, North America is taking notice. So yeah, people don't like what's going on. Elon Musk responds to the letter with a Tropic Thunder meme. He says, to be honest, I really wanted to respond with this Tropic Thunder meme, but I would never do something so rude and irresponsible. And the Tropic Thunder meme is the Tom Cruise character in Tropic Thunder saying, take a big step back and literally F your own face. So there you go. No is the answer from Elon Musk. And Lee says the EU are trying to threaten Elon Musk again, so he posts a meme telling them to take a big step back and F your own face. I love this man. So it's interesting. It seems like he's very secure. Is he very secure because he knows they can't do anything? Is he very secure because he's in the back room, they're all high-fiving because, like, look at the trick we're pulling? Is he that secure because he's got a huge legal team that he pays for and is kind of embedded with X to ensure free speech, et cetera, and he's willing to go to battle? Any of those things are plausible to me. Any of them, which is kind of like, anyway, some people really love Elon Musk. Other people have questions. I am in the second half of that. I have questions. Mike Benz says, I hope folks can now appreciate why for the past 2 years I've been screaming that the greatest threat to free speech in the United States is the EU Digital Services Act, also known as the NATO censorship law, which was pushed by the US deep state's blob network to boomerang back on populist Americans. So they can't undermine the First Amendment or the Second Amendment, First Amendment, Second Amendment in the United States in the timeline that they want, right? I guess they could if they could continue flooding migrants till they completely overwhelm the population, but the population will get wise to that. So they're going to run out of runway before they can do that. So they have to censor, right? And so the way to get around the First Amendment is to have censorship. And so the corporations are, instead of the government, is the goal to enforce the censorship because we live within the corporations. The government kind of sets the, build roads and whatever, sets the laws and things like that. But the corporations, you work for them, and they can censor you, and they can censor speech, and they can say, we're doing this. You can say anything you want, like in the privacy of your own home or on that street corner there where nobody's going to hear you. But on my platform, you can't say anything. So the law is intact according to like courts and things like that. But the corporations have the power over free speech, right? It's shifted. That's what's going on. That's what they're trying to accomplish here. And happening already, right?
The issue, as I see, around the 2024 election, what's coming up ahead of that is mostly, the main threat is driven by the EU Digital Services Act, and NATO being the sort of military arm of the EU. This is going to be the main tool that will be used to try to force Elon to censor like the other major platforms. Those censorship standards are being teed up with the EU's joint partnership with groups like NewsGuard. Currently, the issue is
right. NewsGuard. Oh, yeah. We're guarding your news. And Sundance says globalists losing their mind over Trump. Dr. Godek says this is Thierry Breton, the man who threatened Elon Musk with censorship in the EU to protect EU citizens from serious harm just because his upcoming space with Donald Trump. Let me drop 5 hard truths about who this unelected megalomaniac European bureaucrat is. 1, he's the censorship king. He is pushing for draconian internet censorship laws under the guise of protecting the public discourse while silencing dissenting voices. 2, tax evasion mastermind. He's perfecting the art of dodging European taxes by acquiring Senegalese citizenship, all while collecting hefty salary funded by EU taxpayers. Globalist puppet. He's acting as a key enforcer of the globalist agenda, stripping European nations of their sovereignty in favor of centralized EU control. It's a committee of 300 member. He's one of the pieces on the board, right? He's not a pawn like Justin Trudeau, right? The pawns are showy, upfront, easily dispersed with, right? Like you can get rid of a pawn and who cares? Like Justin Trudeau. This guy's further back, but in the shadows, maybe a castle or a knight or something to that effect. And he's pulling strings in the background that need to be explained by pawns like Justin Trudeau, right? But he's a key enforcer, like Kissinger, to a degree. Woke enforcer, he's forcing the EU to adopt increasingly radical woke policies, even when they contradict traditional European values. And election meddling architect. Last but not least, he's trying to influence elections in other countries by censoring inconvenient truths and shaping public opinion through controlled narratives, all while claiming to defend democracy. So yeah, he is as bad as all of the globalist soldiers, right? And maybe even worse. Remember Demolition Man? Remember how Demolition Man worked, right? They froze their criminals and then they taught them a skill like knitting, and then they took over the world and nobody touched anybody anymore. Nobody could swear anymore. And the world was like this woke utopia nonsense. And then Simon Phoenix woke up and he was a murder death killer and turned New Angeles, or, I think it was New Angeles, on its head, right? And because they had with, I guess they put fluoride in the water. They'd done something to these people, drugged them or something like that, and made them docile. And I think that's subtext, by the way. I don't think that's directly in Demolition Man. I'm extrapolating. Maybe there was a vaccine or something like that. Who knows? But anyway, they'd done something to these people, and they were docile and excited to go to Taco Bell. And fundamentally, they followed the same plan. The Demolition Man two-tier society follows the plan of the group of, or committee of 300. Was this a warning, or was this a blueprint? Right here is Edgar Friendly meets what was this guy's name? I can't remember his name. John Spartan. I don't know how, I forgot. John Spartan. So they meet, and Spartan figures out the game. He's like, well, that's why everything seems so freaking crazy. Here we go.
You're the guy outside Taco Bell.
Yeah. What do you want?
I guess you weren't part of the Cocteau plan.
Greed? Deception? Abuse of power? That's no plan.
Cocteau is the leader. He's the I don't know, the man in charge of San Angeles or New Angeles or whatever the heck it's called. Just to make sure everybody understands the context. Okay, so he's now he's saying, hold on, these people are just looking for freedom and like sanity. That's it. I'm surprised he doesn't ask if Edgar Friendly's read Mein Kampf.
That's why everybody's down here?
You got that right. See, according to Cocteau's plan, I'm the enemy. Because I like to think. I like to read. I'm into freedom of speech and freedom of choice. I'm the kind of guy who likes to sit in a greasy spoon and wonder, gee, should I have the T-bone steak or the jumbo rack of barbecue ribs with the side order gravy fries? I want high cholesterol. I want to eat bacon and butter and buckets of cheese, okay? I want to smoke a Cuban cigar the size of Cincinnati in the non-smoking section. I want to run through the streets naked with green jello all over my body reading Playboy magazine. Why? Because I suddenly might feel the need to, okay, pal? I've seen the future. You know what it is? It's a 47-year-old virgin sitting around in his beige pajamas drinking a banana broccoli shake singing, I'm an Oscar Mayer wiener. You live up top, you live Cocteau's way. What he wants, when he wants, how he wants. Your other choice? Come down here, maybe starve to death.
So he says, I've seen the future. It's a 47-year-old virgin sitting in his parents' basement eating a vegan steak of broccoli or something like that, and singing, I'm going to be an Oscar Mayer wiener. And holy cow, we're there. Like, we're there. It wasn't that long. We're there. We are there. People in Canada can't buy new houses. People in Canada can't buy new houses, can't get out of their parents' basement, so say. People in Canada are in a situation where they're happy to have Beyond Meat or something to that effect, and like whistling the Oscar Mayer wiener song. I wouldn't be surprised, right? It's better than living in Trudeau's Canada. This is the New World Order plan wrapped up into a Dennis Leary speech. It's shocking, right? And he says, you could live up there and you live Cocteau's way, or you come down here and you may be starved to death. Up there, you have a social credit, and they don't give you food. The broccoli steak, the vegan steak that he was talking about, they don't give you food unless you kowtow to their ideology, right? Does that remind you of anywhere you live? Holy smoke, right? It's just crazy. So was it disclosure or was it a warning? I have absolutely no idea. So Tommy Robinson talking about living in a place where free speech is looked down upon. Tommy Robinson is facing jail. Let's talk about the UK. He says, I'm looking at prison time for a film. Hell's Bells says, ISIS member getting released from prison while people get distracted by the law around age and marriage being dropped to 9 years old. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. And Tamara responds to Tommy Robinson, who's upset that he's looking at prison time for a film, but people who are targeting 9-year-olds for sex aren't. Tamara Litch is responding, crazy, I was denied bail and spent 30 days in remand over a photo. So there you go. And these police are just trying to crack down on anybody who's trying to not allow them to get a foothold to establish their communist dictatorship. They would say utopia, but we'll call it what it really is, shall we? David says, to be jailed for 8 weeks. David is a reporter, I guess. Actually, let me just double check, because sometimes it's not a reporter, and then that's not so good. My mouse has disappeared. He is a reporter, and he wanted to verify his story. He says, I had to fact check this one. Lee Joseph Dunn, 51 years old. He was a worker at a Stella field, and he posted a group of men, Asian in appearance, at Egremont Crab Fair 2025 with the captions, coming to a town near you. The second image also showed a group of men, Asian in appearance, leaving a boat onto Whitehaven Beach. This, said Mr. Shelley, had the caption, when it's on your turf, then what? And a final image showed a group of men, Asian in appearance, wielding knives in front of the Palace of Westminster. There was also a crying white child in a Union flag t-shirt. This was also captioned, said Mr. Shelley, with the wording, coming to a town near you. Welcome to 1984. So he's been jailed for 8 weeks, I think. 3 separate images. Hold on a second. Yeah, 8 weeks. So that's incredible for posting a meme that highlights the ongoing invasion into the country. Incredible. Wall Street Silver says they've diagnosed the problem wrong. The people have lost respect for the police. So the UK is putting out news articles about what's happened, and they're trying to find spin on it. And it says, riots show the United Kingdom has lost respect for police, warns Home Secretary. Violence has revealed that people believe crime has no consequence, says Yvette Cooper. And so Wall Street Silver says they've diagnosed the problem wrong. The people have lost respect for the police because they're incompetent and woke. They don't enforce the law equally. They have different standards for different ethnic groups, and police are chasing speech crimes instead of protecting children. So yeah, people have a low tolerance for that, and I think correctly so. Wall Street Silver says if you were forced to live in one or the other, which one would you pick, London or Moscow? And the top is London. And it's full of Islamic women with head coverings, and it does not look like a white Christian nation, right? It doesn't look like England that I remember. Certainly not the London I remember. Very Islamic in appearance. And then Russia, well, Russia looks much better, in my opinion. If somebody said, you right now have to go to a different country and you get a choice of cities, Moscow or London, England, I think I'd choose London. I think I'd choose Moscow because it seems like they'd have better chocolate cereal. Westminster Police have this update. Detectives are investigating the stabbing of an 11-year-old girl in Leicester Square yesterday and have charged 32-year-old Loan Pinaturu with attempted murder. He will appear at court later this morning. Media and the public are strongly reminded that this is an active case. Nothing should be published, including on social media, which should prejudice future court proceedings. I remember a couple of days ago, yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago, where they were live streaming, cutting down and breaking into peaceful Brits' houses in order to intimidate them and arrest them for posts on social media. But this one, investigation ongoing. Don't talk about the foreigner who stabbed an 11-year-old girl in Leicester Square. Keir Starmer wants to undo Brexit because, you know, who cares about the will of the people? Jacob says, fascinating political Europe reported by these guys on the introduction of the UK's product safety and metrology bill has as a potentially significant rolling back Brexit moment. The new package of laws opens the doors to British alignment with the EU standards, a sharp break with the conservative approach of putting as much water between London and Brussels as possible since Britain quit the bloc. So, yeah. Do you want to rejoin the EU? Not particularly. Do you want to align with all their policies? Yes, please. What? Marco says the suspect. So the crime and corruption and all of that stuff in the EU is also being mirrored here. I wanted to show you this. This is just one example. The suspect, this is in Canada, in Edmonton. The suspect, who RCMP say doused Rao in accelerant and lit him on fire, escaped out the back door of the business and remains at large. Khalid Seed Yemer, 33, is also the suspect of a June 27 arrest warrant out of Edmonton after he did not show up in court on that date. Records from Alberta's justice show Yemer is charged with aggressive assault, assault with a weapon, threats to cause bodily harm, and threats to cause damage in the province. Don't worry, folks. Everything is going exactly as planned with Alberta's justice system. 911 days for political prisoners, but bail for real criminals. And Danielle Smith, just missing. Just where, I mean, where could she be? You know, she can't get involved. It's just, it would be awful if she got involved. What? If I was the premier, I would have daily live streamed updates on the Coots guys every single day, and I'd put it across all social media, and I'd have the attorney general, I would have the people involved in the case, I'd have the judge involved in the case, and I'd be asking, what's happening? Why? Give me the justification. Tell me why we can't make this fast. Is it more fun to talk to me every day? Hour-long meeting at least. Let's talk about it. Let's figure this out. Because the underpinnings of the charges are incorrect. They are tyrannical in nature, and they should be null and void. And these gentlemen have been already put through enough. Regardless, I'll get off my soapbox until I continue the show. But on this topic anyway, but fundamentally, a miscarriage of justice should be intervened on in this case. And in any other case where there's a miscarriage of justice that is threatening to undermine people's freedom, right? Everything that's been done in the UK should be undone as well. So it's incredible. Hello everyone, thanks very much for watching. This is just a short version of a longer show. If you'd like to get the whole show, you can go over to CanadaPoly.com and sign up for a subscription. Just look in the drop-down tab for Shop and Donate and look for subscriptions, and you'll get immediate access to the full show. Love to see you. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful